Nobody that I know of in my field uses the so-called scientific method. In our field, it's by the seat of your pants. It's leaps of logic. It's guesswork.
You don't see the curvature of the earth. That stuff is black.
GLOBEBUSTERS taking over. Bye bye moonlight and rover. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster, but the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is. Get the shovel for the space hubble, piecing up the puzzle. Need to burst your bubble. Evil gonna crumble, yeah. Sit down and be humble. Got the ball, you better fumble. You get mad 'cause I just fight about your uncle.
And then they call me the liar. I mean, it's absolutely unbelievable the pathetic techniques that they have to use to prove their heliocentric model.
Bob shot the president, Jeran got the evidence. Arrow slaying Jesuits and Zack is evident. That the earth electric and it's residential residence. It's heavens and I hope to settle in like some sediment. If we so wrong, why they lying to discredit it? That's not too intelligent. That's a guy, not an in court, but we ain't really in the settlement. It's time to awaken from the pseudoscience sedatives.
GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Bye bye moonlight and rover. NASA so mediocre. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is GLOBEBUSTERs taking over. Gotta ride this roller coaster, but the truth is getting closer. Sorry, but your ball is dead. But your ball is.
Inner World Productions.
Welcome, everybody, to GLOBEBUSTERS. It is time for another episode. What are we on to now? I don't even know the number. I believe we are at 11.7. We're calling it the principle. Let me get this up on the screen here. And sorry for being late. I'm a little bit under the weather. I've done some workout in the garage this week, and at the beginning of it, everything was going good. I was wearing a mask and everything. Then towards the end of my dusting or my sanding, I wasn't wearing a mask as much as I should. And then, of course, a day later, I've got this issue with my breathing and my lungs are all effed up. So that's my own fault. I got to be better about wearing a mask. You know, maybe it's some sort of stigma I have with the mask wearing. I'm not really sure. We've got my friend here, Zack Zabala. Good times for all. Zack, what's going on?
Jeran, yeah, man. There's no joke when you're sanding stuff. I mean, yeah, I remember back when we first moved here to South Carolina, I was redoing the kitchen cabinets. And if you've ever done that, it takes a lot of sanding. A lot of sanding, painting, sanding, painting,
Anybody
sanding.
who says that they like sanding is a liar.
Oh, they're lying. They're full of it.
Lying through your teeth. There's
But
no
yeah,
way.
and Bob gave me some crap for wearing a mask. You know, it was right around that time when all the nonsense was going on.
Right.
And I was like, hey, man, I know it's nonsense, but some things you do, you have to wear a mask. You know,
It's
you
true.
have to. There's reasons that we have them, and you know.
Well, because especially when you're
Certain
talking about
things call for it.
particulates that are the size that we could, get into your mouth very easily. I was doing some epoxy resin, and so
Ooh.
somebody just said especially fiberglass. I was doing epoxy resin, which is basically the same thing, and
Mhm.
definitely did some damage. But I feel better already. I mean, it was real bad on like Friday, a little better yesterday, a little better today, but still not able to be my normal self, which sucks. So we are going to talk about a few things here from the start, and then I figured that because I can't talk for 3 hours, we're going to go to Rockfin, and we're going to watch The Principle. So if you've never seen it, you're in for a treat. But I don't think we can watch it on YouTube, so we will go over to Rockfin after about a half hour. So if you have seen it, maybe you only need to watch the beginning if you don't want to hang out for a watch party. Otherwise, that's what we're going to be doing. But I thought we'd cover a few other topics first. First off, Zack, tell us what's going on with the book.
It's not doing too shabby. I got my first copy yesterday, and I looked at it, and it's just kind of blurry and fuzzy, the writing. So I'm thinking I'm going to go back in and change it. I mean, I'm not going to change any of the pictures or the words or anything, but I know there's a lot of editing tools out there that I could maybe sharpen up the pictures. I mean, they looked better than this on the computer. So I thought they were going to come out a little bit sharper than they did. But besides that, I'm real happy with, the quality of them and everything for a children's book. It's not too shabby. I didn't see any staples in it, which I really like because staples in children are not good.
Right.
But
there.
yeah, the second one is already out, but I'm probably going to go and change those pictures and sharpen them up too. And my third one I've already written and I have it all pretty much done, but I don't want to put them out, that'd be like 3 and 2 weeks.
Right.
And I don't want to put them out that, yeah, it's a little quick. So I was talking with Dave and he said probably 1 a month would be good. And, that way you can get a whole bunch of them and just have them sitting there waiting, ready to go, and then work on them, at your own time.
At that pace, I don't know if you could ever beat Danielle Steele, though. At one point, my mom had like every one of her books. It was like the girl
like
must,
a whole
the girl must
bookshelf
put out a
full
book
of them.
once a week or something.
Yeah.
What the hell's going on?
Yeah,
So
that's crazy.
You probably can't get
Daniel Steele is AI. It's got to be.
Yeah, I wouldn't doubt it. Now now you can't put anything past AI. And we could probably talk about that. I want to discuss people talking a lot about the South and whether or not the sun going around you would prove a flat Earth or prove a globe Earth, rather. But I've heard a lot of people talking about it and then passing videos around. Kind of, we were looking at a couple videos last week. And I think it's important to point out that any video now can be manipulated. So that's just the way it is. So to keep going through data, these videos, I'm not sure that's going to get us anywhere. You're never going to find one and go, okay, this one I believe. Well, you can say that, but it's kind of, they had their opportunity in my book, right? This is why when we came onto the scene, or when I did in 2015 and went looking, and we'll bring up that website again just to show it, that the South Pole webcam site that has no 24-hour video is a literal joke. And so either, let's say that there was a 24-hour sun in Antarctica. Well, what that would immediately tell you is that they're purposefully hiding stuff to cause division, that they're purposely, that whole line, which just doesn't make a lot of sense. But yeah, because there's no way that you would have no videos of it in 2015. Why wouldn't you? It just doesn't make any sense to me.
Yeah, that like solidified it right there for me. That's the one thing that, I was still kind of on the fence. We see too far. I was thinking maybe it's a bigger ball, or just, I had all these different weird ideas. But when I went to Antarctica and there was zero, not even an attempt,
right,
of a 24-hour Antarctic sun. There was one video, and it was a guy from inside his tent. He would show his watch and show what time it was, and then show the sun up in the sky, and then show his watch, and then he pointed up like it was supposedly hours later, but the rock formation never changed, and the sun was like in the exact same spot. So it looked like he went and, just changed his watch and then made the second part of the video right there. He didn't even wait for the sun to be in a different spot. And that was it. That was like the one video I saw back in 2015. And that makes no sense. When scientists go somewhere, especially anybody that goes somewhere and you're the first person there, this and that, and there's a phenomena that, like the 24-hour sun in the north, you would go and record that. Be like, hey, I'm going to be the first person to show this to the world.
Yeah,
And
I would think so.
did.
Even more than that, like as soon as, I don't know, it's just weird that there's a debate about it now. So why, you would think somebody would go down there and make a big, at least a big deal about it, because it actually, at least to me, and here's something I want to say that some people would get mad at me for saying. They're saying, Jeran, I heard you say that you think that the sun going behind you would prove it's a globe. Oh, it could be this, it could be that, it could be this. I'm like, no, listen, please. By all means, if somebody has a mechanism by which the sun would go behind you in Antarctica, and I'll kind of show you a image so that we can all see it together, that I would hope that you would please bring it to me or send it to me, get on Telegram, t.me/jeranism, and inform me, because I think Austin and I are both under the same idea that we have not found a way. Now, again, this is not talking about 24 hours of light. That's what we do believe is there. We believe that there's 24 hours of light. We believe that there's the coffee cup caustic, that the sun, after it travels away and would set for you in Antarctica, that you would continue to be light. Now, one of the things that we were talking about is like, I bet you at this camp, wherever people go down there, they probably have like lights out hours, right? Where they say like, from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., it's a tent lockdown because, we don't want you to get outside and get lost and nobody can find you or something. In which case you would know, right around 10 o'clock or so, it's probably when the sun sets. And then around 8 a.m. is when the sun rises, but the entire time it would be light. So if somebody's inside their tent looking around, it's light. I saw the sun when I was outside. It was light. They go to sleep. They wake up. It's still light. they look outside, they see the sun and it's light, that would of course give you the idea that this is a 24-hour sun. But there in fact wouldn't be. It would be 24 hours of light. So we do believe in 24 hours of light. But as far as the sun going behind you, that's what we have a little bit of an issue with coming up with a mechanism for. Some people have said, well, you can go to like that ray optics simulator. If anybody goes to that ray optics simulator, and you can play with it as much as you want. Use the mirrors, use the atmosphere, change the refraction, whatever you got to do. Just try and see if you can come up with a mechanism by which that happens. Let me grab this real quick. Jeranism pics. Yes, this one. I'm going to grab a flat Earth map just so we can look at something that should be simple, but I guess I've been talking with people this week, and I feel like a lot of people aren't really getting it. So let me see what's the best map I have. We'll just use this one if it'll let me. Let's see how big that is. All right, that'll work. All right, so here's a flat Earth map that many of us have seen before. Okay, so if you think about it, if you place yourself, and it doesn't matter where you place yourself in Antarctica, which is another thing, it could be anywhere. So we could be here, we could be here, we could be here. Doesn't matter really where you would be. Technically, I guess if you're talking about where that Union Glacier camp is, you would be technically over here somewhere. Now, if that person is watching the sun, so the sun is doing its rotations in here, okay? Same thing with the moon. If you're watching the sun come this way, well, then from anywhere in Antarctica, you would always see the sun move right to left, right? Doing an Antarctic, right to left. This person would see it go right to left. This person would see it go right to left. Okay, so what we're saying is that if this person sees it go right to left, but then it goes behind them, okay, starts going around them and then comes again over here, and it's the same sun. This doesn't work on a flat Earth. That's what we're saying. And so the people saying, oh, you can't say that. It could be a reflection off the dome. Okay, well then show some mechanism, because what you're talking about is now this sun goes this way. We know that it's got to get sunny here, and we know that it's got to get sunny here, and it's going to get sunny here. So we know that's definitely has to happen. We know it does happen. There's no doubt in anybody's mind that that does happen. So then what is the mechanism by which this sun goes this way, but for this person, the opposite starts happening, going backwards, and you would actually see the sun. Supposedly, right? Again, that's if that happens, which we don't believe it does. But this is what I was confused about, people saying, oh, no, you can't say that. There is a mechanism for it. I said, okay, well, then I would like to see that mechanism, is all I'm saying. So reach out to me if you could. The ray optics simulation is at, let me show you the place for that. So if you just type in ray optics, R-A-Y, let me see what I have here. This one. I'm going to get you the link, put it in the chat. And Control V. Okay, there you go. There's a. So yeah, when you go to this visit, just go to basically. Where does it say? New. All right. So you can do any kind of combination up here, from glass to different kinds of blockers to half planes to circles. So when you're talking about like the coffee cup caustic, let me pull this down here. This is basically an atmospheric circle. Oops, can you guys see that or no? Let me see what you guys are looking at. That's a little low. Move it up here. Okay, that's a little better. So if you have this here, and then we put inside there a 360-degree light source, such as that. Okay, and then you're going to give it, you can actually add to the brightness if you want, or add the ray density, which kind of gives you something like that, which again, this is something we see all the time. Okay, so I'll show you that shortly, but basically as you get here too, you'll notice that if you get too close to the outside, then the entire outside of the ring lights up, which would cause a 24-hour light, which is what they call it a lot. And the coffee cup caustic is kind of this image you see here. We can actually turn this down and see a better job of it. Oops.
Which looks like a lot of the sundogs that we get in the sky.
Oh yeah, it's identical. I mean, this whole look here, let me go here and look at, what would you look up? Atmospheric sundogs. If we go there and go images, you'll notice that many of these views are very much alike as far as, now again, we're not even talking about, I mean, if let's say somebody's down in Antarctica and they see the sun going, but then they see out of it comes a second sun or something, that would be something that would be easily seen. Wouldn't be something that wouldn't be seen or would be able to be hidden from you. To me, I'm not somebody who thinks if you're talking about going down and watching the 24-hour sun, I don't think it's something they could fake. Now, you might hear other people say that they can. I'm just saying, if you're talking about faking it with somebody down there who's actually watching for it, who's watching the sun 24 hours, I don't think it's possible. What you're saying, then they would have to put clouds right in front of the sun when it's rising, switch it with a fake sun, and then you not knowing that that just happened. Then the sun would have to come back out. You'd have to wait till it's about to set, bring up a fake clouds again, let the real sun set, put a fake sun in, and then have it go behind your back. That to me does seem a little bit of a stretch, unless you have people locked in their tents or something, at which point they wouldn't know that. But I'm saying if somebody's out there with a camera filming the sun, I don't think it's possible to fake that. Just me.
Yeah.
Just me.
I mean, I don't know about going to one of their bases, but aren't there places within the southern Arctic Circle that have, it's just ocean? Like you can get there by a boat and be in the Arctic Circle? Aren't there parts of Antarctica that like cut inward and it's actually within the...
We could look. I don't think so, really, though. I mean, not very. I mean, so the Antarctic Circle is what? Oh, this one here, 65. So within. So I guess you're talking about being in here.
Yeah, I mean, you wouldn't even really need to step onto land to see the 24-hour sun. You just have to get below that yellow line.
Correct, but then it would be a very small amount of time, right? So, for instance, somebody here would only see the 24-hour sun one day, maybe. Right, and then it increases as you go this way. So
you'd have to be there at the perfect time to do it.
Right. The place at their camp that they are doing it at is this one here, which is right about in these mountains. Yeah, right in here. So it's about 600 miles from the pole. This camp here. So again, I mean, if people want to see what I'm talking about, we'll just go down here. So if we're talking about what they say happens versus what we think happens, let's get down in here. Oops. What do I go under the clouds? Oh, that's weird. What do I have? Atmosphere turned on? Hold on a second. I usually don't have that turned on. It usually eats up a bunch of... Oh yeah, use high quality terrain, use 3D. Use photorealistic atmosphere. That's weird. I didn't even have that on. Okay. So if you're looking here and then we pull the sun in, let's see here. Oops, we're at the wrong dates, of course. They're at the 24 hours of darkness. Let's go the other way. All right, so one more this way. All right, so now we're at July. You can't see August, September, October, December. Okay, so this is about the date or time right about here. So you'll notice that if the sun is coming in at, come on, go up here. Thank you. What's just going on here? Where is the sun? See if I can find it. Sometimes it won't show it on here if it's too high in the sky, but we should be able to get it. Sun, where are you? Let's spin around. Is that clouds? I've never seen that on Google Earth before. Clouds above me like that. You ever seen that? It's kind of weird.
Yeah, I don't spend too much time on Google Earth, but no, I've never.
It just doesn't look like I'm used to seeing. Okay,
now,
what's going on here? Where are we at?
Now, they say Antarctica is the biggest desert, but yet it's covered in frozen water. I never understood that.
Well, they say it's really dry, you mean. It's funny. It's like they're already telling you, like, oh, no, it'd be too cloudy to ever see the sun from down here, see? Be blocked all the time.
And that's what I'm worried about. You're going to go there, and it's just going to be overcast for like 3 or 4
well,
or however long.
I think that's great evidence to me. Right, it's the middle of their summer. You go down there and it's just overcast the whole time. You don't get to see anything. I mean, nothing's proven. Somebody loses a bunch of money, and besides that, I'm not really sure what you can do about it. But that's what I would expect to see. I would expect to see that because I don't think you would ever go down and see the sunset. They're not going to let you. So again, so this sun is what they on the globe would require it to do, which is basically just circle around you, right? So it's going to come around back to your head. So that's quite a bit different than what we see or what would expect to see on a flat Earth. So my hope is that somebody could give me a mechanism by which that is possible. And otherwise, you've got a pretty big discrepancy there versus what we would expect to see on a flat Earth. versus what? Now, does it mean everything else is negated? No, it doesn't. I mean, it's still all those things are true. Let's go to this, like I said, the South Pole webcam site. Here's a coffee cup caustic, by the way, just showing you. Oh, look at this. So this light that you see here is almost identical to what we're looking at here.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just the identical structure of the light. And so when you see things in real life that we can then go and emulate, then we can kind of get an idea for what must be going on in real life. So if you go to South Pole webcam, I just typed in up here, you'll see South Pole webcams. This one that comes up here, the NOAA Global Monitoring Laboratory. Go ahead and click that. Okay. You'll notice here it says you can view time-lapse movies from the camera. Okay, we'll go there. And then you'll notice that this has the dates from basically including lunar pass and auroras on June 2004. And then you basically have all times from 2010 to 2016. So what they make it sound like, and I emailed these guys and said to them, hey, where's the 24-hour sun? Why do you only have, at the most 12 or 15 hours of video for each day? And they said, oh, it's a bandwidth issue. We're not allowed, we can only upload a certain amount of time, and there's science takes priority, blah, 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 blah. So the dumb thing about that is that's the equivalent of them claiming, at least, that there's no such thing as memory cards, that nobody who's ever been to the South has ever come back. Like somebody could go down there and then all the footage that you guys recorded, you give to them and then they come and upload it on this site. Like we don't know that this is live. It's just a list of a bunch of dates and times. So easily there should be a huge list of dates and times here that when clicked on show you the 24-hour sun. It's that simple. So the fact that it doesn't have
anything. 24-hour sun cams in the Arctic winter, don't they not skip those hours?
It depends. I've seen them. Like these ones here. So, like right now, well, I think if you go back to that search and go South Pole Station webcams, they would have these ones here, but these ones don't save for you. So it means you have to watch it live. And if we go like right now, here's, I don't know what this green line is supposedly. Here's another side, but again, they're in 24 hours of darkness. I don't even think you'd be able to see that much, but.
I just wanted to make a comment. I jumped on to make a comment. The chances that it's overcast, just like they showed on Google Earth, which is weird.
Yeah.
Like I never saw that before. Maybe that's what's new, but the chances that it's overcast are probably in the high 90%. So what if when the people are down there and they see a bright spot above the clouds, they're going to go, okay, there's the sun, let's track it. And they never really see the sun in clarity. They just see a bright spot above the clouds. Do you think that's fakeable? Because I do.
Yes.
Okay. So will the Globers claim victory if you see a bright spot behind the clouds and it goes all the way around?
You would have to, the person who's down there would have to verify that, like, no, we never saw the real sun or have video.
Well, no, it's the sun's above the clouds. You can tell it's the sun because it's bright. That's what they're going to say.
No, I don't
That's
think
what
so.
they will say. There's 0% chance that there will be 24 hours of clear blue sky where you can actually see the sun.
I agree.
Or whatever the bright thing is. So I think the possibility of faking is huge. And I was listening to a debate on TikTok earlier, and Nathan Thompson actually made a really good point, which is true. It's like a couple guys go to Antarctica. They say they saw the 24-hour sun. Hold on, a train is going by. And everyone's going to throw out every other observation they did that falsifies the globe. All the P1000 footage, all of the Canada, everything else. We're just going to throw that all out because one person, two persons, 5 people, 10 people said they saw a sun. It doesn't work that way, in my opinion.
No, calling it the final experiment.
Yeah, no, I don't know if it's a final
joke.
Of any kind of final experiment.
I don't care about the trolls that are all commenting. How come you're chicken? You're afraid? Why are you turning it down? All the flat earthers that are asking me why. The answer is we don't. For me, and I don't know about you. I think Jeran's the same. We don't deal with scammers and liars and cheats that have an agenda. That there really is no positive outcome for flat earthers. Because we know there's no 24-hour sun. And if we don't see it, they'll be like, oh, well, that's because it was cloudy. And if it's cloudy and there's a bright spot, they'll be like, oh, we win because there was a bright spot above the clouds that couldn't possibly be faked. So there's my 2 cents.
Yeah, no, I think it's good. I think that they would look dumb if they did say that. Because anybody would know if you're down there and you just see a bright spot above the clouds, that could be faked. Now, if you're talking about the sun to me is not something that you could, if you're talking about I'm filming the sun, it's moving right to left, then all of a sudden there's some magical clouds that appear that block it, and then coming out the other side is some other thing. Like it would have to be identical. I mean, they can't fake the exact sun.
Think about this. In the summer, so you'll have the sun out for, I don't know, 8 hours, whatever, 8 hours. It's above the clouds, and as it's just going far away, they have a craft in the sky or a projection in the sky in the same area that kind of just takes over. And and again, we're not talking clear sky here. We're talking above a cloud, and then they, with a helicopter, let's just call it a helicopter with a massive light on it, and it slowly goes around, and right where the sun is about to come in, it fades out and the sun comes in. That can be faked.
Wait, so you're saying, but what if somebody can zoom into it with their camera and they would think it's the sun?
No, they can't zoom into it because there's total white cloud cover, like Google Earth just showed you.
Yeah, that's what, I mean, then I don't even think they would claim that to be a victory, to be honest.
I disagree. You better ask them. I mean, it's whoever, ask them. If there's cloud cover and we just see a bright spot above the cloud, is that the sun? Because there's a 99% chance that's going to happen with the weather in Antarctica.
Where is this one here? Is this what you're talking about? Like this kind of cloud cover you're talking about? This?
Yeah, but even heavier than that. What you just showed on Google Earth was solid.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, I see a little bit of blue there. There all of the videos, all of the webcams that you've shown of Antarctica, I rarely see any blue sky. It's all white sky. So that's my 2 cents on that.
I never saw this. So this one that we said is if time-lapse VR or whatever, I just changed it to playback quality, or sorry, not speed. Playback quality, I didn't see you could change it to 2160, which is 4K. It was like it's 360, yes. Well, as soon as I did that, it's just totally cleared up. Now you can actually see the horizon over there. Anyway, yeah, I mean, I think also that it would be cloudy the whole time. But I'm talking about if you're talking... And the other thing, Dave, I don't know if you heard me say, like if they're like lights out from 10 p.m. to 8 a.m., be like, oh, okay, I see exactly what's going on here. Because we believe in the 24 hours.
Also, I hate hanging outside for 24 hours between 0 and 30 degrees. I'm just not doing that.
No, it does not sound like fun at all.
No, it's not.
No.
You wouldn't survive, Mr. California boy.
Probably not. No, I would have.
No, I'm from where it gets -10 every year, and I hate it when it's like that. I didn't even want to get out of my bed. It was hard to keep the house warm.
Yeah, it does not sound like fun.
Well, say, I'm going back to listen mode, guys. Thanks.
All right.
Later, Dave.
It's a funny little dip here. You see that little sun dip right there? It's kind of going, and it's like, dip. Boop. Just taking a south round. Yeep. Anyway, these 360 cameras are funny. But I thought that there was really bad quality last time, but I'm looking now. It's like, not the worst. But anyway, there's that cloud cover that looks identical to what we just saw on Google Earth. That is so funny. I've never seen Google Earth show that cloud cover. Look at that. Wait, are we supposed to be underwater or something?
Do they ever do it anywhere else?
I've never seen it before. Let me go look at it. Maybe I'm tripping out. Like, I don't know why I feel like if I ever have looked, let me go to like Monterey Bay real quick and just see why is that layer there. So let me go to Monterey Bay, because there's a button that says photoreal or something photorealistic atmosphere, but you have to turn it on, which I did not. All right, let's get it. Okay, so let's go over here. Come on.
Yeah, it looks like the clouds stopped.
Yeah, now I don't
You could see them even when you were backed out near the south.
Yeah, look at now. There's nothing. So if I go to Monterey Bay, there's like no. Isn't that funny? I've never seen that before. So if we go into these, where's Monterey Bay? Up here. There we go. So if we go into Monterey Bay, let's see if they put clouds on top of us now. Here, we look up at the sun. Get down all the way. That is so weird. And then they don't put it in there. There's none. Oh, maybe you have to go to daytime? Go to daytime.
No, it's pretty clear sky to me.
That is so weird. I don't know why I've never noticed that.
Yeah, it looked like it went even in the
you go.
South Pacific for a while, but as soon as you hit like Africa, all the clouds stopped
Let me see. So
everywhere.
you're saying keep going down this way? Swing down a little bit. Okay, where are we at? Oh, we're at the north. My bad.
And there was no cloud cover there, but even backed out like this.
Okay, let's see. There's the Tropic of Capricorn. So you should be getting down here.
No, I guess not that far out. Now they're not showing the cloud cover.
All right, let's go back in there again and see if they're going to...
Maybe when you zoomed out is when I saw that.
That's the weirdest thing, though. I've never seen it do that. And then you couldn't actually watch the sun because it was... Let's go back down here. And I checked and it was showed that that photorealistic thing or the atmosphere wasn't turned on. So let's go into here and see if it does it again. Yeah, that is so weird. They put like this weird haze up there. And right now I'm still, my elevation is way up high. Now I'm down to 900 feet, 800 feet, 700 feet, 600 feet. Just weird that they put that and then you bring this around.
Now they're gone. That's weird.
Isn't that weird? And there's the sun up there. So anyway, I would like to hear from people that think that there's a way to get the sun to go behind you, just for knowledge sake. Because again, I do think it's an interesting question, and is it worth throwing everything away over? Well, unless there's a mechanism by which that you can come up with that happens. For me, I think that you would definitely see a 24-hour sun there. I'm saying 24-hour light there, and you would definitely be overcast the entire time, and you would not see, especially if they knew you were going, and that's what you're looking at. And there's probably some rules about when you can go out and when you can take photographs. But anyway, be looking into that. Would appreciate your guys' comments on that. I did see this happen too, which is like weird timing. Just yesterday or the day before. Oh, I'm sorry, I lied. May 17th. So we're talking 9 days ago. This happened here, which is came across my news feed. Let's see where we're at here. Sorry, can't see the screen. There we go. The National Security Memorandum on the United States Policy on the Antarctic Region is a document signed by Biden on May 17th. Here's the document itself. National Security Memorandum on the United States Policy on the Antarctic. And it goes through, basically, I couldn't see anything really different other than it saying it doesn't, claim to... Thank you very much, Justin Johnson, for 5 memberships. Very kind of you.
Much love.
But it doesn't seem like a lot has changed, at least from what I could tell. It just basically says it's implemented consistent with the Constitution of the United States, obligations. Nothing shall be construed to impair others. It does say they don't recognize any claims of land and that they still hold on to their claims, which makes a lot of sense, right? But I didn't see anything. I just thought it was weird that something new came out. I wonder if we looked back at the old document, which I think was done by... Forgot where I read who it was done by. Was it Clinton? Or maybe it was older than that. Today, President Biden signed a national security memorandum on the United States policy on the Antarctic just ahead of the 46th Antarctic Treaty Consultative Meeting. This policy reaffirms the United States' commitment to leading cooperative member. I thought it said a U.S. Antarctic program managed on behalf of the nation. Supports 3 round-the-year stations. Read the full White House website and just the fact sheet. See what's on the fact sheet. Thought it said somewhere it said who was the person who signed the first one, but I don't remember if it was. I think it was Clinton. Anyway, I don't know if this talks about, if anybody's heard anything about it, stratospheric ozone depletion, or what they changed in it. I'd have to look at the old document and the new one, which I have not yet done. So anyway, I just wanted to show that about the South, that there is a vast difference between the Antarctic and on the flat Earth and on the globe Earth. Yeah, because there's still like all the things about there being no southern sea cables and there being no southern cruises and the planes having weird times and the jet streams and all that has to be for a reason. That's why I said that I would immediately say like, oh, this has been the biggest psyop that there's ever been. They purposely did this. They've set up this way. Like, I think that we should be able to, as a citizenry, tell the NOAA, hey, immediately get a 24-hour webcam at the South Pole. Like, it's just, it's a no-brainer. It's like, oh, do you hear that there's a argument going on about the shape of the Earth? So what are you guys doing? You're doing nothing about it? Yeah, just end it. Just put up a camera 24-hour all the time. And if they're like, oh, we can't do that because of bandwidth or this and that. So, okay, well, then have it be a day delayed. Have it be a day delayed, but at least get the videos up there. They can't even do that. So, obviously, I think that the reason is because it doesn't happen. And they've been, hiding that for a long, long time. And this is why there's only that one base, basically, where that tourists can go. Yeah, so if they have that under control, if they have that under control, then you're pretty much that. I mean, that's the other thing is people think like, oh, anybody can go down to Antarctica, and they never get it. They don't get that it's not as easy as you think. Yeah, if you're talking about these tourist spots, yeah, but then look at the price. The price of this trip, which is December 14th through the 18th, and the price is $31,500, and that only flies you from Punta Arenas to Antarctica back to Punta Arenas, and you stay in a tent for 4 days. $31,000.
Yeah, that sounds like fun.
$500. It's the biggest waste of money I've ever seen in my life. It's like a joke.
Yeah, that's not exploring Antarctica.
Right.
I mean, they could put you in a valley, and you're not going to see anything at all.
No, and they even tell you
can't see what's there.
Past these flags. You can't go past these flags. And, of course, their reasoning is going to make sense to everybody, which is you could fall in a crevasse. Mm-hmm. We haven't surveyed that area yet, et cetera, et cetera.
Crazy. They'll let people climb Mount Everest and die left and right. No big deal.
Right.
But we can't go disturb,
I think I saw like 3
Antarctica.
people died last week.
Yeah, I heard some lady died and she was sitting there begging people to help her on the way down. And it's no joke. Anybody that would have tried to help her probably would have died with her. It's not something that you just go do, That's like this stuff, going to Antarctica. There is no timeout while you're down there. Like, I'm almost freezing to death, timeout, I want this to stop. You don't get to do that.
Timeout.
Yeah.
Let's go to McDonald's real quick. Can we go to McDonald's real quick? I'm hungry. I don't think you can do that down there. I'm going to check something real quick. I wanted to see if I've got something else I wanted to show from, I was looking up some books by Ross and who is the other guy that did the Southern Journeys? Cook. And there was somebody else I'm thinking of. But I saw these quotes. I want to see if anybody's ever seen this. I saw these quotes by like Robotham. I have to go to my history and find it. Let me see if I can find it real quick. Is it under Robotham? Nope, not there. Let me check Ross. Excuse me. Oh yeah, this part here. So Ross degree. Yeah. See if this makes any sense to you. I couldn't figure it out myself. So I'm trying to find the book where it says right here, he was a 78 in this latitude. Explicit statement. Okay, so this is a book coming out of the University of Cambridge. I don't know if people have read this before. Let me put it over here. This is talking about the founding father. It's talking about Robotham. Obviously, this is him here. Talking about flat Earth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So if you notice here, let me go control find Ross. Oops. Control find Ross. Okay, so I want to find this Ross quote and then see if this makes sense to me because I couldn't figure it out. Okay, so this here is talking about this guy Ross supposedly talking about lunar eclipses here, but now you'll get down here and you'll see. Okay, so this we'll just read from this part. Regarding the moon, Robotham claimed that a sphere cannot reflect light. Dyer pointed out that the planets are spheres and they reflect light. And he said that most convincing proof that the moon is not self-luminous is the shadows it casts upon itself. The lunar mountains can be seen with a good amateur telescope and they cast quite long shadows to the terminator. Dyer had personally made extensive observations of the moon. Among other claims, Robotham claimed that the light of the moon was different from the light of the sun and it did not react with photographic plates. Sorry, I meant this next part I meant to read. Dyer gave several quotes from Ross that refute Robotham, including an explicit statement by Ross. So look at this statement and see if I'm wrong here. An explicit statement by Ross when he was at the 78 degrees south, that in this latitude, a degree of longitude is less than a quarter mile of distance. Okay, so let's just think about that for a second. So Ross, who is a Southern sailor, who was the first to the South Pole or whatever, second, I don't remember the exact order, Amundsen, Scott, Ross, all these guys. And it says that when he was at 78 degrees south, so that's a latitude. Okay, so we can go to the globe here, and we can go to 78 south. Let's go there. Okay, so 78 south is going to be, let's get up here a little more. All right, so 78 south is about right here. Okay, so 78 south, which is about where my hand is there. And it says, in this latitude, a degree of longitude is less than a quarter mile of distance. Okay, so if we just go back to the globe and say, we're drawing a line now from the 78, he said it was at 78 south, which is right here. Okay, so we're drawing a degree. Now we're going along a longitude line. And it said a degree of longitude, right? So let's see where we're at here. This is the longitude of 106, 107. Okay, 107. And if we start coming this way, we're going to go all the way till we hit 106, which is 106 there. Okay, so that is a degree. So I don't understand, because if I go down here and go miles, that shows on my calculator here as 14 miles. So I'm confused. I'm like, wait a second. So we just went from a degree. What am I doing wrong here, Zach? Can you figure it out? I mean, if this is 78 degrees south, and then we're going right or left here, that's longitude. And if we go to 108, 108 is here. So again, same thing. So if we did a line from here back to there, it's 14 miles. So what the hell is he talking about when he says, Dyer gave several quotes from Ross that refute Robotham, including an explicit statement by Ross when he was in the 78 degrees south, that in this latitude, a degree of longitude is less than a quarter mile of distance. According to Zetetic astronomy, a degree of longitude in the 78th south latitude should be nearly 2 nautical miles. Dyer could not understand how Ross could confuse a quarter mile with 2 miles. Anybody know what I'm missing here? I need to check the chat.
And yours says 14 miles?
That's what it showed, but I started thinking, well, okay, that was just going from 1 degree, if you're talking about from like 106 to 107 or 107 to 108. But maybe he means something less than a degree, like he does say there, a degree of longitude.
A degree, yeah, that sounds like 1 full degree, like, like you did.
Huh.
It's in a quarter mile of distance.
I see Flatworks.
Sounds like he doesn't know where he was at all.
Yeah, I don't know what that means. So I was just wondering if anybody ever read that. I thought that was weird this week, and I was trying to figure it out, and I couldn't really get it. And he says, according to Zetetic astronomy, a degree of longitude in the 78 degrees south latitude would be nearly 2 nautical miles. So then I started thinking, or maybe they're talking about, they think he means 88 degrees? Because technically speaking, okay, let's just go over there real quick and just check that. So if he meant 88 degrees instead of 78, let's go to 88 degrees now, which wouldn't make sense that he would be wrong. So at 88 degrees, okay, right here, then a degree of, so right there I'm at 99, 100. So we're just going to go to right there. So that is, 99, yeah, 100 to 99. Okay, now look at, see, that is 2 miles.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you're right. I think he did a misprint there.
An explicit statement about when he was at the 70, so he was at 88 degrees south, that in this latitude, a degree of longitude is less than a quarter mile of distance. But it says, according to the Zetetic, a degree of longitude is 2 nautical miles. So no, according to the globe, it's 2 miles. But this guy said it's a quarter mile. I don't even know. So I'm all confused about that. That doesn't make any sense to me. And then I went looking, trying to find this book wherever Ross said this, and I couldn't find it. It's just weird that it's in a book. It's basically like that Dyer gave several quotes. And that makes me start thinking they threw books away.
Okay, what if we go to 98? What if they did the 78, the 7 for a 9?
Well, no, 98 would be 90. It would be back.
Oh yeah, there is no 98.
88 would be the end of it. So anyway, it's just weird. I want to see. Somebody gave me these videos down here. It says, where does it say? Somebody says, "Hey Cami, absolutely trying to get these 2 Antarctica 24-hour sun debunk videos to Jeran." Here's this one.
Yeah, this was the guy I was going to tell you about, that flat works.
Okay.
And the Antarctic Treaty from 1598.
Yeah, where's that?
He's the one. It's if you go down a little bit in his videos.
Okay. Videos here. What is this one?
Yeah, right there, the third one, 2 weeks ago.
This one here?
Yeah.
Oh, I want to watch
He goes over the Urbano Monte map. That's what we did Thursday night, and he jumped into chat. And he said, yeah, he translated a lot of it. And it talks about the kings and their edge that they were in charge of, monitoring and making sure nobody went there.
Oh, the other thing, let me just show you one thing. I had it up here. So the other thing I saw that was crazy is just this, see if I can find it here. It is the Ross Ice Shelf for Wikipedia, I believe. Okay, so this right here, I hate when this thing does that. Look at that. You can see that, right? Yeah. All right. So this is just the regular Wikipedia page. Oh, it does let me it does keep my highlights. Good. So I was just reading some of this, and I mean, look what they call. So anyway, they're all down there, and they keep calling they call it the barrier, right? Which is hilarious because that matches a flat Earth, not a globe Earth island at the bottom of a globe. Talking about here, Amundsen wrote, along its outer edge, the barrier shows an even flat surface, but here, inside the bay, the conditions were entirely different. Even from the deck of the Fram, we were able to observe great disturbances of the surface in every direction. Huge ridges and hollows between them extended on all sides. The greatest elevation lay to the south in the form of a lofty, arched ridge, which we took to be about 500 feet high on the horizon, but it might be assumed that this ridge continued to rise beyond the range of vision. This person says here, the next day, the party made its first steps on the barrier. After half an hour's march, we were already at the first important point, the connection between the sea ice and the barrier. This connection had always haunted our brains. What would it be like? A high perpendicular face of ice, up which we would have to haul all of our things laboriously with the help of tackles, or a great and dangerous fissure which we should not be able to cross without going the long way around. We naturally expected something of the sort. This mighty and terrible monster would, of course, offer resistance in some form or another, he wrote. So they're talking about the ice wall. I mean, that's what they're describing. They're talking about the formidable ice wall and what we'll have to do to get over it. The mystic barrier. All accounts, without exception, from the days of Ross to present time, had spoken of this remarkable natural formation with apprehensive awe. It was as though one could always read between the lines the same sentence. Hush, be quiet, the mystic barrier. 1, 2, 3, and a little jump, and the barrier was surmounted. That's just, to me, is just crazy. Like, how do people not know what they're talking about there? They're talking about, and then, hush, be quiet. It's the mystic barrier. That we don't talk about this. We don't talk about the ice wall that's on the outer edge of everywhere direction we go.
And how did the ice get that tall out of the water? I don't understand it.
Yeah, me neither. But it's so funny because there's still people who say that there is no ice wall. I was that creaky blinder, that guy can't stand his voice, but he was talking the other day and somebody said something about the ice wall and he's like, except there is none. There is no ice wall. It's a pretend. It's in your imagination. It's like, I've seen video of hundreds of miles of it. Hundreds of miles. And yet these guys just want to just proclaim it doesn't exist. It does. All these guys have talked about it. I'm trying to see here if we've got, they talk about the distance. The reason I bring that up is because as I was reading, I was even reading more about these guys sailing down. Did you know that they kill and eat seals? I didn't know that.
Really?
They killed them all the time. They just murdered them, and they were like happy about it because then the dogs got to eat, and they all got to eat. And I just didn't even know that we ate seal. So I don't know. Obviously, we don't anymore or whatever. But
I know we used to have whaling stations down in Antarctica before the treaty and all that. Early, like 19 whatever. There were.
Because it's crazy because we think of this as being a long time ago. We're talking like 100 years.
Yeah,
It's
I
not
know.
that
It's
long
crazy.
ago. Yeah, it's not that long ago. You would expect it to be a lot more, but let's look up one other thing here. If I have it still, Ross degree, explicit statement, Ross degree, explicit statement. Yeah, that's all I have for that. I was trying to look for this other book that I found that I was reading, but I can't find it now. Ross degree of latitude, nope. So I wanted to show you some pages of that, but let me see if it's under South. The USAP project support Antarctica South Pole webcam. No. South Pole account of the Norwegian. Yeah, this is it. Sorry, I do have it. So this book here, I'll put it on my Jeranism library after, is the South Pole, it's called. It is quite interesting, this book. See here, the South Pole, an account of the Norwegian Antarctic expedition in the Fram, 1910 to 1912. So where we were reading earlier about the Fram, that was on Wikipedia, I was going to say. So this is a pretty good book, or at least I've been reading a little bit of it. But yeah, this is the part where I was just like appalled that like they would just murder penguins and murder seals for like basically fun. I mean, they have no qualms about it. They're just like, and then we saw so we murdered them all and ate them. I mean, it's just like really cutthroat. But anyway, this is a book where I was trying to find, if I can find that quote, I want to see that quote. It's saying at 98 degrees or whatever. But even when it talks about the 24-hour sun here, often it will say things like, it'll be like January 10th, and they'll be like, oh, we saw for the first time the 24-hour sun. It's like, what? Why on January 10th? It's been going on for months. So there is some issues in here, but again, what can you really hang your hat on,
Mm-hmm.
And the way of his death, the depot a little later. Oops, my son's not having a good time. Let me shut the door real quick. My office door's open.
Mavy.
Anyway, I'll put that book up if people want to do some. I think there's so much more to learn about the South. Reading these guys' paperwork, these books. I mean, Captain Cook's books. Again, anybody who thinks that those things are ironclad too, I'm just talking about getting some hints from him. Because if you look up Captain Cook, he had already left for his third trip before his second book even came out. So, they would be able to change things in that easily. Trying to see.
Yeah, anything they didn't want him to say, I'm sure it was edited,
Right. I mean, it said like it was, I'm seriously like maybe 8 years. So he got back from his second journey, and 8 years later, the book was published. So, and it was in the hands of the Queen the entire time. I wanted to see something real quick. Where was the, so this is just talking about the barrier, the northern sledge journey, the voyage of the Fram. I'm trying to remember, there's a part that says here's another thing I found. Page 280. This didn't make sense to me either. So I think when we read these old books, there's tons of stuff in there. I just don't know if enough people really look at it. Where's page 280? 250. Come on, move along. What's going on here?
It's interesting how they do the number and stuff.
Why did it go up here?
I've been looking at stuff like that lately, like on the book where you would put certain things and this and that. And
I don't know why this is not scrolling. There it goes. All right, so 280 is where he starts talking about the barrier. Trying to see if I can find where it did say about where the 24-hour sun was seen for the first time in January, which is weird. But one thing you'll notice here, I wanted to show you this distance that they claim. So over here he says the biggest seal. Yeah, here's where we're talking about like the seals. A good many seals were lying on the ice floes, and as we went forward, we shot some. As soon as the first seal was brought on board, all of our dogs had their first meat since Madeira. They were given as much as they wanted and ate as much as they could. We too had our share of the seal. And from time forward, we had fresh seal steak for breakfast at least every day. It tasted excellent to those of us who nearly half a year had been living on nothing but tinned meat. I didn't even know they ate seal. A few penguins were also shot, mostly Adele penguins. These are extraordinarily amusing and quite inquisitive animals. When any of them saw us, they at once came nearer to get a better view of the unbidden guests. If they became too impertinent, we did not hesitate to take them. for their flesh, especially the liver was excellent. The albatrosses, anyway, so funny to talk to us. I go, okay. But here, let's see if I can find where it says the total distance. So they came from Norway, and they calculated their distance, and they say our distance from Norway, here we go. As already mentioned, we left Norway on August 9th, 1910, and arrived at our final mornings on January 14th, 1911, in the course of which we had only called at Madeira, so they only stopped one place. The barrier is 16,000 geographical miles from Norway, a distance which we took 5 months to cover. So 16,000 geographical miles from Norway to the ice wall? That doesn't work. So let's go down here again. So we're talking Norway to the ice wall. Right away, you should see a problem. How could it be? If they're on the same side of the hemisphere.
Yeah, Norway's way up there.
Yeah, but I mean, so we know that this is from pole to pole is 12,000 miles. So how the hell?
Oh yeah, there's no way.
How the hell could Norway
miles.
be? Doesn't even make any sense. So if you go up here to Norway, which is, I thought here, where's Norway? Hello.
A little bit higher up to the right.
Oh, there it is. Thank you. So even if you give them the actual path of getting out of there, so if they say, okay, let's say we're leaving from northern Norway, and we come this way to get out of the way of these lands, and then we come out here, head down here, there's no way you're going to get to 16,000. You get lost and go like this, come down here,
Little zigzag in
come
there.
down here, come down here, and then you finally hit the ice wall. Let's say you go this way. So again, that's right there is only 12,000 miles. 12,000.
And that's trying to get lost.
Right, and then you wouldn't describe that as being 16,000 miles from something. You wouldn't be like, oh yeah, we went all different directions and it's 16,000. It's just weird to me that you find all these discrepancies with their south. But again, really, if you just did a straight line as the crow flies from Norway, I'm just gonna get up here. Come on, there we go. Move out of the way. Just do a straight line as the crow flies from Norway to the ice barrier. It's going to be much shorter, so that's 9,000 miles. So anyway, just weird things like that I always find interesting. And then there was one other thing in that book that I wanted to show. But the way they always talk about it, of the up on the barrier was absolutely still. It's always about the barrier, which is, I don't know. It doesn't sound to me like if you were going to be describing an island at the bottom of a globe, it doesn't even matter if it has a wall. I wouldn't consider that a barrier. It's just me. I don't know. I would never. If somebody started calling it that, I'd be like, "What? That's just the island. It's just the wall of the island." Oh, it's a barrier to the wall of the island. Okay, I guess. I mean, it just wouldn't make sense to me. The fact that in this whole book, it's just constant. I went up on the barrier on a tour of reconnaissance. So it's just weird that they call it that, because it does sound to me like, and then they're like, shh, be quiet. Nobody talk about the barrier. Like, what do you mean? Nobody talk about the southern continent, wall? And then you got all these globers who basically patently deny it, who just say it doesn't exist, when a good majority of it is probably that. I mean, I wouldn't even venture a guess of how much of it is, but I've seen video. Do I have?
Yeah, where it just seemed like it went on forever.
Yeah, I put it mostly in like that. I think Nathan Stolman read the book Iron Republic, and I put a bunch of video in that of just the ice wall, somebody along a boat going forever. So anyway, just wanted to point that out. If anybody wants to read this, I'll put it in my library. Again, I don't even know if those pictures are supposed to be real. Like, are these drawings supposed to be photographs? Some of them are just weird. They're just weird. But again, I don't know how much of they were faking back then. I'm trying to see if there's any more pictures here. Like these, I don't know which ones of these are actually real. This looks totally drawn.
Yeah, it does.
Does not look like a photograph at all. So anyway, there's lots of stuff in here, and they've got all these different distances and times, and that they were mistaken, and that they were averaging 15 miles ahead. And again, here's the other problem, just so people know how book editing works and things like that. When people edit books or when they translate or whatever, they'll always like change it. They change what was written to like meet whatever our current beliefs are, right? So like if somebody says in the past something about, I don't know, the earth being flat or anything like that, that people will actually change their writings to be like, oh no, he didn't mean that. I mean, that's what they kind of meant this.
Right. Right there at the top of the page, they were averaging a speed of 8.5 knots. That's faster than the fastest boats that race the races now.
Wow. Yeah, they were.
That's like twice as fast.
Yeah, 200 nautical, or an average of about 8.5 knots an hour, which was the best day's work the Fram had done up until that time. Yeah, they now, if you look at the boats that do it, they're like 4 knots.
Mhm.
So, yeah. It says here, I shall quote here what I wrote about this diary. That, well, now we have experienced the first hurricane on the Fram on Saturday afternoon, the 11th, the wind to the northeast. And I also think there's bigger currents. Like, they actually claim that the current is only like 2 miles per hour or less. I don't believe that for a second. I think it's much, much faster than that. I cannot remember ever having the Fram showed herself to her. Anyway, so I want to show that. We can get to, I don't know, do you have anything else you wanted to cover, or we can get into the principle? I just think the movie's important, and it's excellent. It should get your mind working in the right direction with the fact that, well, I love the story behind the principle to start with, is that, you know, you've got all these mainstream physicists who are crying foul, saying that they didn't want to be in that video, or they didn't want to be in that documentary. But what they said is what they said, right? I mean, they were asked questions about, what do you know about this? What do you know about the axis of evil? And they're just answering. And then when they found out that it was being used to promote geocentrism, then they got all upset, even though what they said doesn't change. It's just, so anyway, I think that that's all I had. Let me check my save stuff here. Oh, hopefully you guys checked out the trivia for charity, which we took care of.
That was fun.
Austin, yeah, it was a good time. Dave got destroyed, and I was even nice to him, and no, I'm just kidding. It was close. But yes, that was fun. Check that out on the Melodome channel. Seeing what else I have here for. Just have that one. So I did that one. Yeah, I think that that's pretty much all I had for this week. Again, I mean, if you guys have any comments about the last experiment, you could send them to me, t.me/Jeranism. As of right now, like I said, I already declined because I don't like liars. And I think that if you're going to start out, now here's the problem, is that they could easily offer me the trip, and then you'd have all these Globers forever saying, Jeran's turning it down because he caught two little lies. Again, I think that would be something that they would do, and they would just keep saying that, Jeran doesn't believe his beliefs because he's afraid to go down there because of some lies, which they can say whatever they want. Of course, it's not their life. Of course, it's not they're not in the predicament. These guys have no idea what it's like to actually feel like you are uncovering something that has been hidden from people. This is not something that they would just let you do. Whereas these guys use that as evidence for them, right? They're basically saying, well, why wouldn't you just go? They're not going to kill you, which I tend to agree that I would think that would cause them more problems than not. You're actually going to have more people look into it if you did something like that. But regardless of that, you've got one person acting like a psychopath regarding Austin. And then you find out that person is working directly with this so-called person that's in charge of this experiment, which is just weird. It's just weird. You've got...
Yeah, I wouldn't go.
Yeah. I mean,
I wouldn't go even if it was just all flat earthers, because I don't like it that cold.
Yeah,
like when it's warm down there, it's cold.
Yeah, I think that they said the highest it gets would be like 30.
Yeah.
So
yeah. No,
that's
thanks.
if you're lucky.
That's like the low that I will go is like 30 degrees, No. Nope. You guys can do it.
No, thank you.
I don't need that to know that the Earth isn't a globe. I just don't. I mean, we can't base the ground on the lights in the sky. Even if you do see something crazy out there, like you said earlier, it doesn't take away all the stuff that we've done and the measurements we've done and all this other stuff. It's still there.
No, and it does. I mean, it doesn't change that we didn't go to the moon. It didn't change,
No.
right? And I've said before, like, if we went to the moon, then I give them everything else. This is different, right? If we went to the moon, if you know the distance to the moon and you know the gravity on the moon and you went to the moon, then you probably know the gravity and the distance to Jupiter, and you probably know the size of the sun, and you probably know a lot of things. That I'll give you. But just to say that, because they got the sun right or something, that means that then they went to the moon. No, it doesn't. There's still no remote control car on Mars. There's still no people that have ever been very far from the Earth at all. I mean, if you want to say that they've been 250 miles, it's on you. One thing that I will bring up, I talked to Dave Weiss about it. We laughed at the Jeff Bezos rocket. What is that thing called? The penis rocket?
I forget.
Blue Origin? Yeah, Blue Origin, right? Let me just look up that real quick. And I want to show you a couple things, just not go into too much detail, but I want to first explain why it's not even a big deal to me. Here we go. This one here. Can we watch the video? So they love to show this, of course. All these people looking out the window and they see so much greatness, but they never show that in live. What do I accept all cookies? I don't care. I was going to see, do I see let's go to YouTube. There we go. They just had a launch the other day. Videos.
Was this the oldest astronaut, new astronaut that went up? That one?
Yeah, he's like 90 or something. This guy.
I'm sorry. They're still pulling what, like 3.5 G's in that thing?
Oh, and then one of the parachutes didn't open, so the thing hits the ground like ridiculously hard. Let me see if I can find it. Is it this one or this one? Maybe this one.
Yeah, we were watching people do 3.5 G's in the simulators, and people pass out. Young, healthy people at 3.5 G's.
Yeah,
there's a reason they like only short, stocky people to be pilots, because the blood tries to rush out into your extremities, and it's a lot harder for long, lanky people to keep their blood into their chest so they don't pass out.
So I want to show this real quick so that people understand what a parabolic flight is, and see if this makes okay. So a parabolic flight is, let's take a little drawing of a plane here. Sorry for my drawing skills. They are no good. But let's say this is a plane, kind of like that. Yeah, it's good enough. All right. So this plane is flying. Now, when it does this move here, okay, which is a parabolic arc, parabola, it's kind of close anyway. Okay, so when it does that path, what happens is from about here to here, you have weightlessness. Okay, so the plane starts going up, like it's going to power up its jets, and then it stops, kind of coasts the rest of the way up here. And so think about it like you're going over a hill or something, you get that little tummy feeling. That then between here and here, you're basically in free fall, meaning that you have 0G. Okay, that's all that a parabolic flight is. Now, in this New Shepard Blue Origin craft that they're supposedly sending people in. Now, I know Dave Weiss, says it's fake. I tend to think most of it is definitely a production, but I also think it's not even a big deal because all they're doing is they're launching the craft straight up, and it gets to a certain height, and you'll see him even mention it, that then it goes like this, goes all the way to the top of its peak, and comes back. Okay? But they'll even say, as it got to, I forgot if it was like 120,000 feet or something, wherever it got, about here, they said, oh, now the astronauts are experiencing 0G. Right? So it's the same thing. It's just a much higher attempt, which means, what is it? The plane gets like 30 seconds, right? So this goes to the point, yeah. It's like 4 minutes. Okay. So they're actually having people pay $200,000 or $250,000 or $400,000. I don't even know what they're charging to basically shoot you like a ballistic missile up straight up in the air. And then as you get to a certain point, you could calculate from that point on that you're just going to be in free fall. It's going to go up and it's going to come down. And then you have some curved windows and people look outside and they see what they think is a curved Earth. To me, it's just not an argument, a point of contention. I don't see it.
Yeah, that one old lady said she didn't see the curve of the Earth.
Right, yeah. Wally.
I thought we were going to get high enough, but we didn't.
Wally Junk, I think her name is?
Yeah. Yeah. She blew the whole thing right there.
I don't know where the actual event is. It doesn't show. Oh, it's under probably live streams, huh? Let me go back and see.
And I think a lot of it, I think David's right, a lot of it is production. I don't see this as being out of the realms of possibility, though.
Me neither.
Yeah, but when you have 90-year-olds landing and there's no ambulance around at all,
right?
I'm calling bullshit.
It's kind of cool.
Because at the fair, when you have the dunk thing, you have to have like a med tech there or whatever.
Right. And it's just baffling to me. Like, you wouldn't have a live camera of them inside the craft. It makes no sense to me. All right, let's see the takeoff here. That's good. And these girls, so funny. At one point, she describes it as like, oh, it looked like a magic trick, and the other chick gets pissed at her. It's not a magic trick. It's great engineering.
And at this angle, unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see the BE-3 engine gimbaling back and forth.
See that? Yeah.
But the gimbal of the engine plus those fins are what direct the rocket both on ascent, but obviously the rocket, because it comes back.
6, 5, 4. Command engine start. 2, 1, 0. Ignition.
There's like 8 people cheering, first of all. I have so many problems with this anyway, as it is. I just don't think that we're launching things like that. I mean, look at the speed as it's going up. I mean, you basically don't even see fire coming out of this. No smoke. And it's already going 200 miles per hour.
Coming out of that.
Now it's going to be going 300 miles per hour. I mean, think how fast that is. You're moving, and you're moving straight up.
It doesn't say the G's, though, does it?
No, I think you'd be able to calculate it. But, I mean, now it's 400 miles per hour. And supposedly there's people in here, of course. So where's the camera showing us that they're in there? You know, we don't see that. They'll come up with the, what do you call it? Like the post-production will have show the inside. But when this thing comes back down, let's see here in a second. Oh, so let me see if she says something about it being...
max Q, that's when the dynamic pressures are the highest on the vehicle. We go from 100% power, pull it back a little bit as we go through max Q, and then ramp her back up to 100%.
Okay, maximum pressure.
I mean, my question is, like, do they actually believe that if this was a vacuum that you could just still launch a craft? It would just keep gaining. I mean, just because you're blowing stuff out there. I don't get it. Because, like, now we're above the atmosphere, aren't we? Getting pretty close, like 48,000 feet. Yet it's still powering through and gaining speed.
Max G should be in about 10 seconds. Whoa.
Look at the speed.
Now you're getting to almost, U2 height here.
Yeah.
Or no, jet engines can't fly in this, so how is that one working?
And then jet engines can't fly because they open and contract and they leak fuel and all that stuff goes on, right? This thing's just fine.
Max Q has been confirmed. Again, thank you everybody for joining us for New Shepard's 25th mission to space. So far, a nominal flight.
Again, it's a lie. It's not a lie, but it's like we arbitrarily call a certain spot space, and it's like, and we just sent people to that spot that we named a space that is called space. There's no actual rhyme or reason.
Now it's 100,000 feet, so we've sent balloons into space, you're saying,
yes,
lady?
Yes, exactly. It's like ridiculous.
100,000 feet.
And the vehicle will continue to climb under full power of the BE-3 engine.
900. It's going hundreds of miles an hour faster now.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Look at this. 2,000 miles per hour.
Engine cutoff. You will know in that.
2,200. That's insane. No way.
We don't feel speed. We feel acceleration. Well, what the hell is this thing doing?
That's 100 miles an hour accelerated in like less than a second. They just did. Maybe 2 seconds.
Okay, so you'll notice it hit now the peak of its velocity. So I think she even mentions it here that now the astronauts experience 0G. So they're not experiencing 0G doesn't even exist. Even in their model. In their model, you would be orbiting something which would cause you to have the illusion of 0G. But there is no...
Yeah, you're free falling.
Yeah, you're free falling. That's it.
Go dim.
So it's still climbing. I don't know what the hell that was.
There we go. Main engine cutoff confirmed.
And Dave makes a good point too. Is like, look how far away this is, and they still just have their camera on it. No problem. 208. Like,
yeah,
nobody's
there's no way they're seeing that from the ground at 208,000 feet.
No, nobody can even follow their helium balloon. Nobody can follow their weather balloon up to this 120,000 feet. I've never seen somebody track it with a camera. And
even with the P900, you get a little tiny thing of the space station.
Right. So, but this is like smaller.
And this is way smaller than the space station.
Yeah. And then they like both these crafts supposedly separate, and they're like floating next to each other.
Now with the main engine cut off.
Now hear this. So
the BE-3 engine turned off. The vehicle continues to climb up towards its apogee, but as you will see on the left side, the speedometer will come down. And once that speedometer hits 0, that's when you know exactly that the vehicle has hit apogee, its highest altitude in the flight of the vehicle.
Right.
Now I understand that separation of the capsule from the booster has been confirmed.
300,000
It starts
feet.
flashing 0 G.
And 0 G has started for our astronaut.
So again, they are launching them straight up in the sky. At a certain point, now your miles per hour starts going down because you're now just releasing. So of course you're going to get very, very slow. Then you're going to get to 0. Then you're going to come back down. And then you get that time period between here and here, which you would call 0 G, which is of course just an illusion, but it's how they convince people, even with the planes that go like this. Now they convince people with this thing that goes here. So again, it's not sending anybody to space. It's just a prop, like it's just a illusion, basically is what I'm trying to say. Let's keep watching.
We used to have fireworks that did this, and they drop an army guy with a parachute.
Shortly here, we're going to let them unbuckle and enjoy the beauty of floating around in 0 G, but of course, the spectacular views out
It's like, why lie though? Why is floating around in 0 G? It's just, you've sent somebody up and then made them free fall. It's 0 G. It's not 0 G.
And I'll say that having passed over 330,000 feet, they are over the Kármán line. So welcome to space, astronauts.
Oh. Call them astronauts, I bet, yeah. I mean, look at this thing still. Remember, balloons go to 120,000 feet. You can't see them. This is at 344,000 feet. We see it fine. Makes a lot of sense. Now, again, these two crafts are falling like side by side. That'd be so, it's like, what if this one hits this one? And kill everybody in there?
And how are they showing just this the whole time? This is like so boring to watch this. Why not have something on the craft
Speed up back towards Earth.
showing them? Or at least showing out the window. Maybe not showing them. It's a private thing or something like that. Whatever. Yeah, show out the window.
Show a camera that sits on the outside of GoPro. They're fucking $400. I'll buy one for you, NASA. Call me. Or
I mean, they didn't even show the release. Put something on the one and the rocket part of it and show it when it releases.
Right. More aerodynamically shaped. And once it hits atmosphere, we've got a multitude of aerodynamic surfaces that are going to guide it back to its landing pad just 2 miles north of the launch pad.
Is the view is falling?
And then just a little bit afterwards, we have the crew capsule, which will also come back down into that West Texas Valley for a nice soft landing.
It looks so bad to me. I could just laugh at it. You know that guy, the Everyday Astronaut? I think I want to start a channel called the Everyday Astronaut, and I'll just cover all these space launches and just laugh. Every one of them. It sounds like there's 4 people there cheering. And look at this thing coming down. And this is pretty funny here. Again, like you said, no ambulances out there. And, well, I guess this is no people are in this one.
Oh, yeah.
Come on. But this view is hilarious. It's like total production. Missa put it perfectly. We were walking today, I was showing her, and she's like, oh, the whole thing's a production. Like, yeah, that's exactly, it's a good word for it.
All right, you see the booster that is headed down. You see the drag fins, the drag brakes that have just deployed. Those cut the speed of the booster in half. Also at the top of the rocket there, you see the forward fins. They kind of look like pie slices, one on each quadrant. That helps keep the vehicle stable. And there we go, BE3 engine relight. Landing gear deployed.
Come on.
50 feet, 8 feet per second. Touchdown. Auto started.
Oh, what a magic show.
And touchdown. Welcome home, New Shepard.
These ladies are annoying as can be.
Everything looking nominal on today's flight.
Except for?
Oh, no.
Looks like we do have 2 parachutes that have full inflation. The third is not quite fully inflated. But actually, Jackie, this is
no big deal.
Oops.
Everything looking nominal on today's flight. Fully in webcast. The first webcast that we did, we tested a chute out There are multiple redundant factors in this system, and so landing with 2 parachutes is perfectly okay for this system.
So, like, to me, this is definitely being played in slow motion.
You'll also see the dust take out of
It's
the
like
base
so
of
obvious.
the capsule as she comes.
And I think the reason they have to play in slow motion is because they lost a chute, and this thing hits the ground moving really too fast. It would have killed anybody in it. Watch how fast it's moving.
The air cushioning system is going to kick up a lot of that West Texas dust you just talked about, but it also
Doesn't that look slow motion?
Touchdown of the crew capsule.
That's slow motion to me.
A beautiful flight for our rocket, for our crew capsule, for our 6 new astronauts, Mason, Sylvain, Ken, Carol, Gopi, and Ed. You are officially astronauts. Welcome home, everybody.
And
Doesn't that look like it's slow motion?
Air cushioning system is going to pick up a lot of that West Texas
Watch these
these
cables right here. Watch this group of cables. Look at this falling. Look at
of the crew capsule.
That's slow motion. Look at here. Just
a beautiful flight.
So yeah, the only reason you would slow it down and call it live is because if we go back and look at a hit, remember there's a 90-year-old man in here. Would you put
speed
your 90?
it up to 1.25? Let
me see. Yeah, maybe right. Let's see. We'll go speed 1.25. Let's watch from there.
This is.
I want to hear her. I'd rather just see it. So yeah, see if this makes a little more sense. But again, would you put your 90-year-old grandfather in this capsule and say, "Yeah, you'll be fine. Don't worry.
You'll be all right.
We're just gonna drop you out of the sky." And that was weird. That like froze.
Yeah, it did.
What was that about? Where was that it froze? Right when I saw the.
Yeah, right when it pans down here.
Right after. Oh, I guess it still could be guys coming down. Oh, wait.
Yeah,
that was weird. Like slowed up right there.
And
anyway,
they switched it.
Okay, let's see if that looks a little bit more realistic speed. Now that looks a little more real time to me. Let me see those cables. This is at 1.25. Oh, even that looks a little slow.
They still fall kind of slow. Yeah.
Let me go a little faster. Just a hair.
Yeah, see, that makes sense because that thing was having trouble
that looks real.
down right there.
Now that looks real to me. How fast this would come down.
Yeah, how fast the smoke would move.
Yep.
Because that smoke it looked like it was moving real slow.
This looks real to me. So again, you're talking about them slowing it down to make you believe that people could survive it, because next thing you know, they've got these cars that all pull out. Let's see. Go get it. And let's see if we see these guys get out. What's going on here? Now we can see them all in there. It just seems like such a production. I mean, you're telling me that thing with only two parachutes, you're supposed to have 3, and then it fires guns out of the bottom of it that protect it from like anybody getting hurt. It's like, it doesn't make any sense to me. Let me see if we can catch that split second before playback speed slow. There we go. I just want to see this thing. Can you guys see that? Oh, I'll move it up here so you can see. None of that looks real to me. I mean, what?
It blew the smoke out before it hits the ground?
Supposedly, yeah, it hits this like their brakes or something. Let's see if I can go. Can you pause it and go back this way? Oh, good. But look how tall it is, right? Just watch it. When it hits the ground, like watch it become shorter than itself. Look at that.
Doom.
How deep in the ground did it go? Look at the size of the craft. It's huge. So imagine that gumdrop. Now picture it. So where does it hit the ground? There? Well, then if it hits the ground, that's as low as it can go, but yet the top still goes down more. Like it went in the ground.
And then go back to the part where they're walking around it. Is there like a big crater there?
Good question.
Because that was a lot of
I want to see
a lot of dust.
See if we can see it's the same. So like there, I mean, the chances that you would like, oh, we'll know to launch our little rockets, and that's the only thing that saves the lives of the people in there, is to perfectly time the launch of whatever that is, smoke bombs. Like you could ever calculate that? Like it would be so perfect that it would cushion the fall. I mean, look how far that thing goes into the ground. Look where the windows are, and then the windows, before you know it, are lower than the ground. I want to see if you can see the top of it. Oops, there we go. Come on, move along. It just looked to me like it went in like a gumdrop into molasses or something. Let's just go over a little further and a little further.
Yeah, the people over on Rockfin. Yep, nothing more than an amusement park ride.
Oh yeah, it's just I call it a reverse bungee jump, and you're just spending a lot more money on. Oh, is that showing the inside? Let's see if there. And I guess that would be their excuse, right? That it's a private endeavor, so we can't show. I mean, it's just stupid. Oops. Sorry. There we go.
Is the view. And so we made a commitment as a team that we would all enjoy the view. I broke my own commitment because I did 2 somersaults the second I got out of my chair. But that view is just captivating.
Do I also remember of vehicles that he's flying? Exactly.
I want to look what you said about the
Jason Robinson, because he also has flown.
It doesn't look like there's a blast crater.
He's very happy.
He's also an astronaut.
Let me
see if I see one.
Looks like it landed right next to some bushes and stuff.
Spaceflight for our New Shepard program. That makes 37 astronauts in total that we have taken up to space and back. What you see here is our safety team story to talk about these experiences and share them with Go to Space.
Long time coming.
Selected in the early 60s as the...
You're down! Here, one of you. Come right on over here.
Again, we don't see anything.
And it's so spot on the nose from Edgewhite from...
Again, how many of them do you think are talking about flat Earth right now? With their friends or spouses or whatever. So what? Did you see the curve?
Yeah, I know. I mean, to me, again, this is why I don't want to just outright call it fake, because it doesn't matter even if it's real. It doesn't seem like it'd be something that's outside of the possibilities to do, other than I wouldn't send 90-year-olds up there. But if it is real, all it is a parabolic flight, but shot ballistically up and straight up in the sky. And so it's nothing. People think that now we have space travel, we have commercial space flight. Shut the hell up. You cannot call this commercial space flight. They're lying to you, and you guys are just eating it. They're just pissing on you and just telling you it's rain, and you're like, well, it could be rain. It could be. It's like, yeah, I guess it could
DJ
be,
Black in chat brought up a good point. There's no doubt that craft really does look very spotless when you see those guys walking around it. The maintenance crew, whatever they call them.
Like this?
Does that look like it was just in space? I mean, shouldn't there be like...
Yeah, don't they show like the capsule from... Well, see, now I'm confused. So if you went that high, you still have to come back through the atmosphere, but you're not going very fast? So wouldn't you burn more? I guess not. I don't know. I've never believed this whole burning up.
I mean, but yeah, wouldn't there be damage at least going up and out at that speed? I don't know. And
then we didn't hear any sonic booms. They definitely would have been going over the speed of sound. I should have caused a sonic boom. So I don't know. A lot of weird things about it. What does this guy have to say? I'm sure he's got to say something about seeing the curvature of the Earth, how great it was.
Although he did not get to fly then, today was his opportunity, and man, what a flight for him. Finally, an official astronaut.
I mean, can you imagine it being... you're like, apply to be an astronaut, and then like 70 years later, they're like, here, we'll throw you up in a bungee jump. We'll call it. Now you got to see. Are you happy, old man?
Thank you, everyone.
Gopito Thakura.
Perfect.
Okay.
All right. Sophie can add spaceship to the litany of vehicles that he's flying.
Exactly. Put that in his logbook.
That's right.
And of course, Mason, welcome home.
Oh, Mason.
Leo will be very excited to see Mason back on Earth.
Yay! You're down! Here, one of you. Come right on over here.
Thank you for being part of this.
Alrighty, I am ecstatic.
Ecstatic. Did anything surprise you? What was it like looking at Earth?
Well, yeah, the transitions about the separations and stuff were a little bit more dynamic. I mean, they were nice, smooth, but that's how it's supposed to be. But it makes your mind wander. There's something wrong with it. But no, it was absolutely terrific, and the view. I mean, just even I couldn't see it, I could see it.
Wait, what did you say? Even though I couldn't see it, I could see?
Yeah, even though you couldn't see, you can see it.
This is a life-changing experience. Everybody needs to do this.
Everybody needs to do this.
And
Love it.
hasn't done it yet.
Oh, you have?
No, sir. No, sir.
What?
A life-changing experience. Everybody needs to do this. I think that is the quote.
Oh,
and
boy.
it's so spot on the nose from Ed Dwight, from again a gentleman who's been waiting 60 plus years to do this. And if anybody knows, about how to prepare for space,
The crew
etc.,
endurance, right?
it's him.
Yeah.
And
So funny. I would never consider that an insult if I was that guy. Like, he's been waiting his whole life to go to space, and finally we threw him up there, and he got about 2 feet ahead of it, and now he's been to space. Like, thanks, guys. It's kind of not what I meant by going to space. Just go up there.
going to be.
think the
And
training
so just
makes it a breeze.
extraordinary
I think I was in another simulation.
He said, I think I was in another simulation.
going to be.
I think the
and
training
so just
makes it a breeze.
extraordinary
I think I was in another simulation. I was not, and it's thanks to you and everybody at George. Yeah, it's amazing. It really is.
Thank you.
That's kind of interesting.
Tell me more about the view. Woo! As I pull your glasses off, tell me more.
It's not like movies. It's really not. You have to see it with your eyes to really, really, really take it in. And I looked at it for the first time when, we were asked that separation happened.
Yeah.
I got a glance of it, but then when you start to look at it, I started to look at it, and then my legs went up. I was like, I don't want to leave it. I want to go back to it. I want to go back to
What
it.
did Victor tell you?
It's look outside.
Look outside.
Look outside. But I can't tell you what it is to just look outside. And it's not the curvature. That's why as soon as I came out, I told Phil and Dave, and I said, Daddy's going, and everybody else should go to space.
What do you think? Are you ready? Are you about ready?
One is good.
One is good.
No, but everybody
I'll
should
take
go.
your word for it.
And I think it happens very quick. The 5Gs, you feel every second of it. Oh yeah, you feel every second of it. You'll see me doing some things in there, but you'll feel it. But everything else.
How could a 90-year-old do 5Gs?
They can't. Bullshit. I'm calling shenanigans. Get out the pitchforks and torches.
It doesn't seem possible.
I was from the other side, and that's what I started with. Right? It's good to see us from the other side, and what you guys have designed and done here. I think every person standing on this planet should go and witness it to really understand what it is, because I can't describe it to you, and I won't. You should go up there and see it.
I can't describe it to you, and I won't.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for bringing him back safe.
Non-disclosure agreement?
Yeah.
All right. Oh, here we go. Hello, sir.
Hello, thank you so much. Wow. All right.
Oh my gosh.
That was
Welcome
incredible.
back.
Yeah, I'm not back yet quite.
Yeah, well, it might take
What an incredible day for
What
all of
an
us.
annoying group of women. All right. Let's go to Watch the Principal now. Don't know what people's comments are on that one, but that's to each their own. Now, that one, you would not catch me going in. Sorry.
No.
Somebody could buy me
No
a
rockets.
I'm a pass
Nope.
on that. I don't want you to. I don't want to do a reverse bungee jump. You throw me up as high in the sky as you want.
Yeah, there's a reason the rocket scientist never gets on the rocket.
Right. Even Neil deGrasse Tyson says, like, when they're like, "Would you go to Mars?" Like, nope. Not
Nope.
until somebody else goes first. Pretty funny. Yeah, this thing does not look charred at all. It's like these little graphics are like, what are these like lines supposed to be like it's charred?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was like, did they put those on there to make it seem like it? You know,
I think that they are like decals. Yeah, it's like a
decals are all
perfect
fine.
fade.
Nothing
Yeah, it's
wrong with the
Look
decals.
how clean this is.
Just did 5 Gs.
Just had to come back through the atmosphere. Yeah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. All right, guys, we're going to watch The Principal. If you've never seen it before, you're in for a treat. It is a great film. We're going to stop at YouTube and go to Rockfin. It'll be free there at Rockfin until the end of the show. Then it will go behind the pay wall. And again, this is because I have a little bit of a breathing issue, so I'm not going to talk here for the other hour and a half. I think it's just about an hour and 15 minutes or so. Any other words for you, Zachary?
No, go check out that Flatworks channel.
Oh yeah, I still have the.
He does the thing on the 500-year-old Antarctic treaty. Really cool. Just really cool, the stuff that is on that map and how much data was gathered back then. You got to think this was before we even came to the Pilgrims came to America, and they had cities in America named on that map, like inland cities, not just along the coast. All kinds of crazy stuff. Not saying that it's all true or anything like that, but it's just amazing how much went into that map and how much of the stuff that's in there that is still there today.
Yeah,
you know, the
crazy.
names are exactly the same as we see today.
And if people don't want to or don't realize too why, you know, just bring up something about liars, that if you think it's a problem like, oh, Jeran and Austin don't want to go to Antarctica because liars are involved, just remember this, that these guys act like it would be impossible for everyone to lie about the shape of the earth, right? That's what they constantly act like. Why would they lie? Why would they lie? So this is a question we always get. But remember that so far we've caught Duffy in a lie, Toon lying. These guys lie for nothing. Okay? So if they act like, why would they lie? Why would they lie? They can't imagine anybody lying, yet they lie for no money. So that your position
Just
isn't
to win
even
an
right.
argument.
Right. Your
they
position
lie.
isn't even right. You should recognize that if you'll lie for no money, that people will definitely lie for lots of money. And it's just ridiculous that you expect us to believe that you don't believe people would lie about this. However, you'll lie about it for nothing. So if people don't remember, this is back 4 or 5 years ago, that I was watching or somebody sent me or whatever it was, a live stream of some Globers talking. And at one point a trash can falls over. And in the trash can, you see a wadded up piece of paper that says from the strategic office of the government or something. It's like it's got a seal on it and everything. Well, come to find out, MC Toon is the one who made a fake document, and then they planned this whole thing to where somebody would drop the trash can and this document would pull out just to make fun of flat earthers, right? Just so that one of us would catch it and make a video saying, look what I found, and they could all hee-haw and laugh. So you're willing to fabricate evidence to set people up to lie to people, then we're saying the same thing is true about the elite. That they treat us humans just like you treat flat earthers. Because you think because you know facts because somebody told you some shit, and that we, even though we were told the same facts, we just don't believe it. And you think that makes you somehow so intellectually superior that you can then fabricate evidence and you can make up lies just for your own shits and giggles. Then how do you not realize that that's the exact same as what we're saying they do, but for money and power and control, which makes a lot more sense than you losers who do it for nothing. Sorry, I've never faked a document and left it for globe earthers to find because I want them. It's like, I don't treat other human beings like that. So the fact that you
I've
guys
never
do,
faked data or an experiment or any of the stuff that I've shown.
right? And then you got people like Ruhif saying like, oh, well, you know, the reason why there's no Glober who's ever put out any kind of evidence that would lead to a flat earth is because there is no such thing. That every observation there's ever been has been globe proof. It's like, okay, you're just lost. You got no freaking clue. So obviously these guys are willing to do it for pennies or compared to what it would be if it was actually orchestrated something larger. It just tells me that there are people out there that will lie. And there are people that think that they're so much better than you that it's okay to treat you like less than a human. That's how these guys act. So they feel like they can get away with anything. It's okay if they lie about this. It's okay if they hide this from us. It's okay if you don't tell us that Toon's sitting behind the scenes, giving you help through all your debates, because what you're doing it for the right reasons. It's for the globe. Even though I think it's the most embarrassing thing ever. First of all, I don't know any smart people in my entire life that got any kicks out of calling people dumb. Zero. Smart people don't need to call other people dumb. Okay, smart people have much better things to do with their life than call people dumb. That's the last thing that they're worried about. But you've got Toon, and this is why I was trying to get Toon to put his channel on the line in an IQ contest against Austin, which he won't do. And I'm like, okay, then stop calling him stupid. Because if you're going to spend your entire show saying Austin is stupid, Austin is dumb, he doesn't know what he's talking about, he's so stupid, then you must be willing to beat him in an IQ test. And if you're not, then what you're saying by calling him stupid is a lie. You don't think he's stupid. You're just saying that for whatever audience glee that you think that, I don't know. But to me, these are dishonest people. He doesn't really, if you believe somebody's dumb, if I'm going to call somebody stupid, then I better be willing to take an IQ test against them. Why wouldn't I be? I'm calling them dumb and stupid. So anyway, to me, it just seems like these guys are willing to lie. They're willing to hide things. They're willing to not be honest about things. And that's not the people I want to be in charge of my trip down to Antarctica for sure. All right, let's go. Yes, exactly. Dr. Bass Ackford says, I know, right? It's us and our feeble minds just can't understand the amazing science that is the globe and these liar goofballs. Yeah, Craig the other day was typing to me and he said something to me about Dave Weiss is lying about something. And I said, well, what is he lying about? Tell me what he's lying about. And if I see him lying about it, I'll go tell him to stop. I said, anything that you've ever pointed out that he was wrong about, we've corrected. He doesn't use that anymore. So I'm like, he's not lying. If he's wrong about something, that's a big difference. And he's like, no, we've told him, we've pointed out to him before that what he's saying is wrong. It's a lie. I said, FTFE, remember when I told you East and Westerns were circles? I said East and West are circles, and you told me I was wrong. So if I would have done what you want me to do, which is to think that you're always right, to think you have all the facts, then I would have just shut up and been like, oh, well, the FTFE must be right. I'm like, but do you understand that you were wrong? So you were calling me a liar and saying that I was wrong, but it ended up being that you were wrong. So I'm like, so this is why we don't take anything you say to mean it's fact.
Does that mean that he was a liar then?
Right, exactly, right? Was he lying about it? No.
Because you told him it was a circle and he went on saying that it wasn't?
Exactly.
So was he a liar then?
Exactly.
No. Yeah.
So, I mean, this is what they fail to realize. They think that because, like, Toon thinks that if it's taught to you in school, that's the only thing that's true. It's like they're literally the Copernicus, if you want to call it that, or the Galileo they're the church prosecuting them, right? Because what they're basically saying is only the current science is true. You cannot bring it. If Austin comes forward and says, oh, I think that we have an electric gradient and I think that there's a downward, that's wrong. It's not what's taught in school. It's like, yeah, no shit. We know that. That's why we're talking about it. So to me, it's just embarrassing that these guys have to actually actively block or try to block the free speech of other men. And to me, it's like, why? If you back the truth, then what are you afraid of? Like, there's no way, if flat earth isn't the truth, that it's going to take over and become anything, because the globe will stand in its face and will never back down because it's the truth. But these guys, they act like it's not. It's the only reason you would be so actively protecting the current dogma. And we know that, looking throughout history, look at, I forgot if it was Planck who said it, or maybe it was Max Born, somebody, but they were talking about the way science works is you have these periods of quiet and then you have massive upheavals where the only thing that it takes is all the people who currently believe the current science basically die off. And then the new people come in and replace their theories. Well, we're at a place now where, Toon is basically one of those, sorry, I had some on the floor. Toon is basically one of those people that can't grasp the fact that science changes, that we can be wrong about things, that just because and then the other thing, I don't know if you heard this one recently, this is the other one. He's like, well, he utilizes Feynman, but Feynman believes the Earth's a globe. It's like, yeah, no shit. So what do you mean? We can't use Feynman's information about the 100 volts per meter because he believes in a globe? Like, do they not realize how ridiculously retarded that is? Like, that's how people grow off things and ideas. And because he has a certain mindset would be why he can't see that there's other things that branch from that. That's the goal of other people, is to come along and say, oh, you found this out. Well, if we put this in this application, now look what happens. Oh, fantastic. That's why fair use. The funniest thing is when what's his name? Bart Cybrell gave me all those strikes when I had to kind of remove every video on my channel. He said in a document, he was like talking, he says, you've taken all my work and you've made it look like, or used it to promote the flat earth. And he's like, you should have just stuck to the moon landing stuff. But I'm like, no, you don't understand fair use. If I take your material and repeat only what you do, that is when it's copyright.
Yeah, exactly.
I can't take Bart Cybrell's information and be like, we didn't go to the moon. Here's Bart Cybrell saying we didn't go to the moon. We didn't go to the moon. Here's Bart Cybrell. That is copyright infringement. I'm infringing on what you said. But if I'm saying, look at Bart Cybrell found, and I don't think that they actually were in orbit. I think this is all given to, then that's just me using it as fair use, because I've taken it and I've transformed what you found into something new. These guys are so clueless. They feel like you're not allowed to do that. You can only take the information from somebody
and regurgitate it.
Right. Like if we're going to use from Feynman, then we have to believe everything Feynman says. It's like, what do you mean? It doesn't even make any sense. So stupid. Okay. But anyway, we're going to watch this, The Principle. If you've never seen it before, you're in for a treat.
Yeah, this is a good one.
Just seen Bart Rogan last night. It was an older episode. He looks creepy. Yeah, it was actually pretty good. Some of it was pretty good, but it was still funny to see Joe constantly try and be the devil's advocate for anything. No matter what he said, he's like, well, but it could be that we did go to the moon, but we couldn't take photos because of the radiation, so we faked the photos so that we could say, because we did go to the moon. It's like, shut up. That's such a stretch.
It's like they wouldn't just tell people.
Right.
No, let's lie about it and create some big giant conspiracy that we can get caught in later.
Right. For 50 years.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense. All right, here we go. Check out the brand new Tinfoil Hat Sombrero show in a little over an hour. What time do you guys start? A little over an hour. So it's, I don't know what time you guys start. I don't know how long the principle is, but if I have to cut in, I will, but I don't think I should have to. All right, we're stopping at YouTube. Let's head over to Rockfin, and you guys enjoy the rest of your Sunday. What do you have coming up? Anything?
I was going to try to get maybe Chris Van Matre on this Sunday. I'm going to send him a message here and see if we can't go over surveying.
Nice.
For GLOBEBUSTERS Tech. Yeah. Because it's been a while since we've done that. And yeah, he's been a surveyor for like 30 some odd years now, I think it is.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And yeah. And he's done all the math and he's a flat earther who is a surveyor, or a surveyor that became a flat earther. So he really crunched the numbers, and I'm going to give him a heads up. So yeah, I'm hoping he can bring out all those calculations that Bob and I had gone over back in the day, and really broke down how they took his measurements. And then when they went to he had to turn them into a certain place, they changed them a little bit and then give them to the geodetic surveyors. So yeah, he pretty much pulled the math out of where they add the curve in.
All right, and thank you, Joe Mama, for the 10 memberships, and thank you, Justin Johnson, for the 5. Very kind of you guys.
Yeah, much love, guys.
We'll be over at Rockfin now. Thank you, YouTube. We'll see you Thursday and then next Sunday as well. All right, we're ended there.